Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bidness. Today we have a podcaster special. We have Jess and Kif from Jess the Ska Kid. Hey, and Kif also plays in a band called Army of Cretins. So if you guys are in Wisconsin drinking tomato beer, that's where you want to hang out with the Army of Cretins. Next we have Joe Maier. He's every show Joe, and man, this guy, I've seen him at more shows than I can imagine. All over California, Arizona, Nevada. He just pops up, and he's always a joy to hang out with, and he knows his bands. He knows his circuits of music.
I almost expected him to be at the last show we played.
Absolutely.
I have surprised a band in Denver. They were actually authentically like, where are we?
And next we have James Jansma. He plays with the Replicators, but he also has a brand new podcast called the New Tone Skacast, where he plays the newest ska singles out there, and just puts together a really good mix, and then does like a kind of a traditional. It's an audio only podcast at the time. Yeah,
I'm looking at like a college radio kind of, format, kind of, hey, these are the songs, here are the songs.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's what I got from it. It was I got a warm, fuzzy college radio feel to it. I'm Curtis. I play with the band Monkey, and this is our returning champion co-host, Brian, who also plays with the band Monkey, calling out from Hawaii.
Hello.
In
Oahu. For like 2 more weeks,
and then it's
3 more weeks.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
He's coming back with the suntan. All right. Just to let you guys know, out in listener land, we had a wreck of a time today. It's raining out in the Bay Area, so maybe that's affecting Facebook services and how they link up with each other. But it was almost impossible to get the feed going. So now, instead of on the Monkey site, it's on my personal site just to make sense out of it. Welcome to the show, everybody. Okay, so the show's really simple. We just want to know, for the audience's sake, and for my sake too, I want to know that all my friends are doing well. So I reach out to people and I ask them, how did you survive this last year without going absolutely insane? What did you do? Did you learn any new trades? Did you learn any new games? Did you write a book? Did you make a poem happen? Did you do some paintings? Whatever you did to keep your mind off of being stuck in a room for a million hours with either yourself or your very, very, very close, loved, and possibly now unloved people. Depending on the situation, it's like, so we'll start the feed out with Joe.
Yes.
Joe.
Oh my God.
What did you do this year to stay
What did you do?
in the right frame of mind?
Well, I watched a lot of live streams, which are harder to find than just looking at venues and show schedules. Gosh. And then I went and found hikes around Arizona that kept me socially distanced from people and away from people, and brought my camera and found a way to do photography in a different way. I think that's mostly it.
Fantastic. Killer. James, what did you do?
Well, considering I'm an essential worker, I kept working.
Ooh.
I'm a manager at a grocery store around here in the Seattle area, and I joined the band, the Replicators. So it was kind of like I had bothered them right before. Like, I think they were looking for a guitar player, and I bothered them. I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in joining. Send me some stuff. And then after a while, I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. But then COVID hit. I was like, I guess I have all the time in the world to learn your stuff. Yep, you twisted my arm. I'm going to join. So, yeah, I've been learning their stuff. And then I thought I'd better start a podcast, too. It's
nice.
Like my wife and my child are probably sick of me at this point talking about ska again. The ska's back. And I'm like, woo! But, yeah.
They never died.
Awesome. Jess and Kif, what did you guys do to keep yourself from going insane and beating each other up? Besides drink all that lovely alcohol behind you.
Started off the year by we bought a house.
Ooh,
so then we bought a house in February, and less than a month later, we were all at home. So we've comfortably moved in. We gardened. We have this giant farm-ish area. So we gardened. We walked a lot. We went camping. We did our show. And that's, music and art. And from a distance, we helped kind of also navigate other people to set up like virtual shows themselves.
Yeah.
So we were a few fundraisers and like hosted some virtual things as well.
Nice.
So
yeah, I learned how to play the band.
Nice.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
so weird.
Nice. You said you guys grew a garden. What are you most proud of in your garden?
Our pumpkins.
Yeah, we had shit.
Oh yeah. Pumpkin patches can get crazy. What was the biggest one? Did you weigh the biggest one?
No, but it's still here.
It is still 5'8".
It's huge. I don't know how much this thing weighs because it seemed to weigh much, but it height-wise is probably 2 feet tall, and circumference. What would you say? A crate, like a milk crate around?
Yeah, if our youngest
Jeez.
got down into a little ball.
No. Oh,
What's going on there, Brian?
not to bring it down, but Chick Corea just died.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
no,
You guys-
Jazz legend, if you don't
For
know,
sure.
kids.
Yeah.
for sure. Super jazz legend.
Anyway,
Wow. Well,
R.I.P.
rest in peace, sir. Let's drink one to Chick Corea.
Oh, you got a shiner. Good stuff.
Yeah, Shiner Box are good. It's good for they're Texas beer, right? I think it's a Texas beer. Yeah.
Jealous.
It took me a long time to realize that there's such a German presence in Texas. It's really one of the major cores of like German heritage, and I don't know why I didn't realize it because Lubbock, Texas. I mean, these are all like German towns, so it's interesting. Hey, in the feed, it looks like Dave. By the way, for everyone that showed up today, we advertised that Dave Litt was going to be on, but for some reason, when we went live, it dropped him out of the feed. So it's probably a technical issue that Facebook is having.
I
Anyway,
believe that is the episode's title is technical issue.
yeah, definitely. What I see here, I know that Jess the Ska Kid has a really big audience. You guys have been doing it for a while, and then I know that Joe has been doing his podcast for a good amount of time, right? A couple of years, maybe? No, yeah, a couple months.
Depends what you describe a podcast. I've been doing a weekly concert calendar for 4 years.
Okay.
4 years. I just did 200. So yeah, 4 years.
Excellent. But
that's every Friday. I try to put together 7 days of stuff, and then it's kind of been on the back burner for now. But I called it Concerts to Consoles.
Okay. Cool.
And that one I did through, I think it was May or June, where I play video games with people, with bands, and interview
Nice.
them.
Okay.
So that's on the podcast feeds and also on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
So how long has it been since you've actually gone live? Done a real.
I personally started jumping back into it on Twitch, just game streaming at the moment.
Okay.
And hoping to this year get back to some of the interviewing stuff again.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the reason why I ask is James is I know you. I can tell that you had some experience with with college radio and that sort of thing, but what I like to see in this, and it's a real shame that we couldn't get Dave on, because Dave has been doing it for a long time. He's been doing his station is actually, or his podcast is actually a 24-hour podcast.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
he has a recycling artist that he plays through his show, and he has several shows that he does within that. So it's really he's really knowledgeable. So it's maybe he'll stick around and chat in the sidebar. But it's a shame that he's not in here, because I wanted to have what I looked at this group as is that Dave was nearly a lifer in this thing, and then Jess is how long have you guys been doing it for?
Well, 3.
Almost close to
4 years.
Yeah.
So we have Dave at maximum podcast life, and then you guys are at like 4 years or so. Joe is at a couple of years, and then we have James, which is brand new. I mean, he's brand new, and so what I wanted to do was see the flow and conversation between someone that really has a good grip on all the different options, and then all the way to someone that's brand new to the game, so that we could ask some interesting questions. But with that being said, we could still glean information from a group like this. You guys have lots of stuff to share. So if at all during this conversation you guys have questions to each other, just ask it. Just ask it. We're all in this and having a good time.
All in it together, baby.
All right.
Or we could just tell drunken stories. We're cool with that too.
That is kind of how the show's devolved to, is just telling drunken stories from shows.
I guess.
Yeah.
I have a question for everybody in the room, since I'm the new guy. So I had bounced like a lot of ideas out there. I kind of looked at, I think I always known that SoundCloud you always had a link available so you could do podcasts. And then I was looking at Anchor, and I've listened to podcasts for forever, and some people just put them on their server and whatnot, come up with an RSS link, and that'll work too. What do you guys think works the best? Jess, SkaKid, what's going on? What do you think is the best so far?
And then a friend of ours edited it and put it onto different things. If you start like a page, so you can, through your website, if you have one, also link the Bandcamp. And unlike where you only get like number of times that you can post on it, you don't have that with Bandcamp. And then we just always then reprogram it into what our videos live were to put on YouTube. I like those platforms because I like the live aspect. I wanted to see people, and I did college radio throughout college, and then I went back to that station as an adult just because within my role in the community, I was able to finagle my way back. And I was like, hey, by the way, I thought. And the idea to fly from the studio was like, no one's doing that. Let's try it. So back in 2014, I started that, and people really were receptive to the live. So while a traditional podcast can be done and you can listen to it and that fills up the background noise and you can enjoy that, I really like the opportunity to have in person and see what's happening, because I feel like it's more of a connection. Even when I listen to radio, being able to see that, to me, I guess where sensory I more adhere to. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. It gives me some ideas, like, so far, yeah.
David in the sidebar says moving over from audio only podcasting to Twitch was huge.
Yeah.
For Echoplex. So.
I did live with Twitch on all of them. Well, also playing into the gaming part of it, but also then I use Anchor for audio versions, which I'm sure the clicking of the joysticks is the most annoying thing to an ear. But it's done well, and it was during the transition that they got acquired by Spotify. So then not only do they spread it to all, was it 10 different services?
Yeah.
They added it to Spotify, so now it's got even further reach. But then, yeah, with Twitch, you still get the live interaction that they're talking about. That's really fun.
Yeah. So that's the reason we kind of jumped in on this Facebook chat room thing in the beginning, is that we like the accessibility, because there's a large amount of gamers that are on Twitch, but the people that are looking for performers and live chats and stuff like that, it's kind of a new market for them. So they're kind of expanding rapidly, by the way, but I didn't know how many of our fans would actually make the jump. So we started doing this on Facebook, and it's been pretty good. I mean, the numbers are good, but the technical difficulties, like today's, was unreal. So we're still a little bit in that decision stage, and we might switch over. I think Twitch does a live feed to Facebook, right?
You have to set it up
No.
with hitting a server that splits it.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So the reason why is, I want to, once again, that live aspect is the best aspect, and to see people actually respond to it in the feed is, I think, crucial for not just for the performer, right? The person running the podcast, but also to the people that are watching the podcast. They want to be able to high five friends that they know, like, oh, you're in the feed too. Hey, what's going on? So we see intra-feed conversations happening all the time on our show.
So what's really neat too, recently we've been part of other podcast shows or these live, I don't even know if you can call this a podcast, whatever. We talk live on the web for everybody to view. We've been doing it through Zoom, which then there's somebody behind the scenes splitting it off into multiple different fast various Facebook pages, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and their websites, and like he's sending it to a whole bunch of different places at one time through Zoom. So we will, that's our new thing for 2021 is Cooley Ranks, is Car Sessions 2035 is going to start working with us. Same thing on our.
Oh, cool.
Which is
cool.
Because Car
Nice.
is being broadcast in Jamaica on their television station.
What?
So that's where you'll see us.
That is super awesome.
You know what the wonderful thing is? Now that I have all you guys, I've already given him your name and show.
Yeah, for sure.
Humans on this, their information too. Because his goal is to be able to connect all of the people who do podcasts into one streaming spot. And so we started collecting a list of everyone we've with and gave it to him, and we're going to keep adding. So I will send your information on over, so he should be able to connect anyone.
Nice.
The network.
Oh,
That's
we should have what's his name, the Skatoon Network guy.
Jeremy. Yeah,
it would be great if we actually had a Skatoon network. Where you could go to a single service and see a million ska bands doing their feed, and you could just like flip through the ska feeds.
Wow.
Maybe that's the future
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have much information on Twitch. Otherwise, and I've been there. I've watched a couple things on Twitch, but I don't really know how it's set up in the back end. Do they have the ability for you to like folder items or have like like-minded items?
That I don't know because I've never personally used it.
You can do playlists like the others.
Okay, so you can do playlists of Are these
of your
playlists
own videos.
of
And
your
then
own?
it, as you start to use it a little more, it'll try to curate other streams you might like and creators.
That is interesting because what I can see is like you come to a page, right? Like that I'm using Skatoon Network as a vehicle here, right? So let's say that someone created a Skatoon Network folder or page, and it had multiple feeds associated with it. And any time of day, you could click on that feed, and it would have all these under feeds coming through.
Oh, I don't think they have that set up.
Wouldn't
Somebody better
that
get
be amazing if you went to?
on this.
Yeah,
Sounds
exactly.
great.
Exactly. Now I'm starting to think.
I've seen where they create multiple channels, and then you just have to follow all those channels and see when they're live.
Yeah.
But I've not seen one under an umbrella.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool to have because I know their setup is like, you know, you have the main whatever you're looking at right at the top, but also you have like a suggested feed listing underneath it. If you could control that suggested feed listing, then you could be watching, you know, someone could be coming to Monkey doing a live podcast, boom boom boom, like I'm watching it. What? The Mighty Boss Tones are going live? Oh, jump down to that podcast and just kind of like see all these collected feeds under one idea.
Ooh, that's cool.
The ideas are there on Twitch, just not as curated. You have to be following the Boss Tones and everyone, and then you'll see when they're live.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into it. Because I know what I'm asking for. It may not exist, but you know, you can kind of do it with videos on, like, say, YouTube. You can build your own like a library of videos and then link that library to anybody to watch those videos. But live feeds are a different thing, you know. And I know Facebook offers what they call oh God, what do they call it? They like a live feed repost thing. Man. My brain is
like an archive.
Yeah, it's let me see if I can look it up real quick here. It is called Watch Party. So Watch Party, what Watch Party will do is and they profess that it does this. I have not seen all the tools work yet. But what Watch Party does is it'll allow you to click onto live feeds, right? And then line them up so that when one feed ends, it'll automatically drop the viewer into the next feed. But you know, if one feed goes like for an hour and the other feed is like 15 minutes, then you're screwed. You never see the other feed. And supposedly with Watch Party, you can interact with the people watching it. So you post a link on your page, and then you can literally overdub your voice onto whatever is happening. So if you're watching a presidential speech, you can say, "Did he really mean to say that? Like, come on, you know,
Come on, Jack.
You can give live comment. Come on, Jack. Come on. A malarkey stops here."
That sounds like the Netflix party. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Netflix has. Yeah, they're doing
It's
a
like
bunch of social stuff too.
I think
right?
it's a third party thing, but it's a plug-in Netflix party.
Yeah.
We can get together in a chat with friends and do
That
similar
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Netflix stuff.
This sounds nasty. A Netflix party? Come on.
All Netflix, no chill.
Yeah.
David over in the chat is saying that you're on Twitch every Tuesday, Curtis.
Oh, what about?
He's also saying there's a thing called Stream Teams,
Nice.
whatever that is.
Stream Teams.
Yeah.
David Litton is Stream Teams a Twitch centric thing? Is it a product that Twitch puts out, or is it something else? We'll see if he. Yeah,
we'll see
what he has to say. Let's see. Other people in the feed. Johnny Bravo says, "Are there any other kind of F stories?" I don't know what that means.
that was in response to the just sitting around talking about being drunk.
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Oh, wait. He says Twitch, yeah.
And
we're
they're
not
not on any teams because we don't like anyone.
He says, that's his form of podcasting is like I'm going to be rude and I'm going to be whoever I want to be, and it's really interesting because he'll seek out people that have thin skin and just repost their videos and then chat bomb them and like encourage them to come on his show so that he can like knock them off the post. You know, he's just it's all done in fun, but it's an interesting ride for sure.
Really?
Say what?
You gotta build them up and knock them down, man.
But I mean, he's got the most complex system. He's like I'm on some ninja application platform that goes to Twitch and then refeeds to some other program that refeeds to some other program that refeeds to Facebook, and I'm like, okay. And he says, you stop in a minute, I'll help you. And I'm like, yeah.
Is that OSB? Is he on OSB?
Yeah, OSB. He is on OSB.
Yeah, that is actually fairly easy. It's like it helps you sign in, because all you do is use OSB to sign in, and then you can kind of produce between cameras. I've been experimenting with it.
Okay.
I think because I don't know, I do like my Beat Tiger dub thing on the side too. But yeah, I think I've tried it. It's fairly simple, actually.
It's open source.
You got a couple of cameras, a couple of sources. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So
you can do a bunch of plugins for it too.
Yeah,
it's pretty a little buggy, but pretty good.
Nice. So you mentioned multiple cameras. Is it like multiple cameras for one feed, or do you have to have a camera for each feed that you're going through?
No, it's just that it's basically a producer type. More of a director like switchboard program. Yeah. So say I've got one camera over here, one camera in here. I could literally switch between this camera, go to this camera, go to this crawling feed or whatever. I think a lot of the Twitch kids use that.
Nice.
You know.
Yeah. As long as your computer doesn't blow up, you can do like multiple camera feeds at once.
Use a gaming computer.
Which Dave in the feed said it can be pretty computer resource hungry. So if it's just eating up your bits, then a standard computer is probably going to wither.
Got experience of it. Just
we've also got a Callum McGowan saying hello all.
Yeah, Callum is a buddy of mine. He's a DJ in San Francisco, and he does. When I say DJ, I mean like an actual dance music DJ, but he's mostly into like the industrial scene. So he does like like everybody's in black latex.
That's just the sounds of their clothing.
There's actually no music. We just go.
A lot of angst.
There's a lot of that. I've got an imaginary ball.
Shapes. Throwing some shapes.
Rolling it around. Well, and then there's the cross-legged dance where you do that, and then you do that. You like curtsy and bow.
You know you're doing that with your fingers because you cannot do that in real life.
I think one of the funniest thing I've seen was what people asking for goth ska. I'm just like,
yes,
maybe Daniel Ash from Bauhaus tried that. I don't know.
It's ska. We can do ska. Who wants to do ska? You guys want to start a ska band?
That should be our project for the next Monkey album. Is Monkey Goes Ska.
Yeah. What was that, Jess?
Only for tiny hats.
Very tiny hat.
Just a little
tiny pork pie hat. checkerboard
So,
guy liner.
Actually, I would like to see that.
Me too.
in our area, there's a bunch of guys that put out something called the Hard Times. And they do these mock articles, kind of like the Onion style. And man, they hit the scoffing so hard sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
And
It was
you
like-
gotta pick it up.
Every
Yeah. A recent article that says that the true ska believers only brush every other teeth.
Ew.
Jerry Dahmers. You can't do it anymore. Yeah.
Hey, John Roy from the band Unsteady in San Diego is in the feed, and he says, "Catch the bat, hug the bat,
Release the bat.
yeah! That is a classic patch. I have that patch on my bag.
Yeah. Used to be on my flight, but I got fat. So I pulled them off and I've been putting them all over the place.
Nice.
Francesca
From England.
Stout from England says, "Hands up, ska goth here." Seriously, a friend. Seriously,
Crack
a
Rock
friend of
City.
mine. Apparently, her and her friend are planning a horror punk / ska band.
Nice.
I would watch that.
Nice.
There was a ska band in the Bay Area that was starting, and they had a Halloween theme, so it was all about like monsters and robots and aliens and
So
ghosts.
That's the Aquabats.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like we're superheroes that fight monsters and aliens.
They were
Like,
actually the things.
They're
this was about, like-
the villains.
What was that
Say what?
band? Go ahead.
What'd you say, Jess?
I said there's a band called Grave Danger that is.
Yes. I think that's their name. That's their name. Yeah.
They're really cool.
Have you seen them?
They've sent us music. We've played them on our show.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to reach out to them. I think they're in the East Bay. They're actually in the Bay Area.
They were very obscure, and all of a sudden we got this like, "Hey, we're a new band, and here you go." And there was like a video that, like, as far as reference goes,
Yeah.
that we could find us their little EP. This was like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And we played it Halloween time, and it was super well done. And they are like spooky.
Yeah. Nice.
It's so spooky.
What was that
That's great.
one band that sounded like the Misfits from the East Coast? I want to say Insiders,
No.
but
Oh,
that's
It was the Misfits.
No,
no.
you're thinking of the Independents. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
They sounded like Danzig had a ska band. I'm like, what is going on? I used to laugh at that. Great band.
Yeah.
I'll give it that.
Well, I remember the thing that was most jealous about when it came to that band is when I first saw their pictures, they had the entire band dressed up like the Ramones, and I was like, they're stealing the Ramones, and then they got they got their tour van stolen with everything in it, and Joey Ramone himself showed up at like some sort of gig that they were doing to get funds for their tour van, and he spoke in their behalf.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, yes, maybe you borrowed their look. It didn't exactly feel it.
Yeah, that's
But
we got Kurt Armstrong from Hans Gruber and the Diehards in the comments saying, "Just the ska kid rocks, hooked us up several times in the Wisconsin area."
Yes. We put together
Little shout out.
house shows for them because they were on tour and they were like, "We need a venue," and I was like, "You can play in our basement." That's where our shows are done.
Nice.
Did
Yeah,
they stay there too?
yeah. We
Did they stay there too?
No.
Oh,
They got.
oh,
I wanted
They were.
to find out if Alf took a shower in your bathroom.
We have cats. Everybody's good. No one got AIDS.
We fed them. They got paid.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to share 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever it was, on the road with them in January of 2020, right before everything shut down on the Ska Parade tour.
Yeah.
So those guys are
They're so
badass.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super fun.
A
Super
ball of
fun.
energy.
His lens,
It's,
but his lens is somebody smashed a guitar and the string
Oof.
caught it.
ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's okay.
Never got any back.
Just as long as he didn't lose an eye.
No.
Yeah, we did this tour with them, the Ska Parade tour, in last January, and it was so fun and so wild and so crazy. And we got to Denver, Colorado, and damn me if I didn't think they absolutely blew us out of the water. They were fantastic, and
Oh yeah.
what's weird about the them, you know, they have this whole like jump into the crowd and like get you sweaty and like and commingling with you as a crowd member. But in this particular venue, they had a like a drop off, right, where the dance floor was, and then it came back up to like a box seating area, right, like with a little fence around it. Well, he hops off stage and then hops into the box, and he's holding this cable above the crowd, and the crowd is like jumping, like trying to get the cable, and he's like you know, one liners to the crowd while the band is still rolling, and it's just like I remember I personally got like in the box with him and filmed it because I was like, this has got to be the best moment of my view of their career, but might actually be the best moment of their career. So
that particular show, when he was doing that, he got every single person on the dance floor to like go down on their backs and start kicking their hands and legs in the air for some what he called cockroach ska.
yeah.
Oh wow! This sounds
Yeah,
more
there's
exciting than
just-
Phoenix.
There's just this entire like just milling mass of people just on their backs, just like
They're really trying. They're really into it.
That's weird
They hold themselves.
because that was a punishment they used to do to us in Navy boot camp. Like they would punish all of us in the crew. Like if you got in trouble as a group, which was the norm in boot camp, they would go cockroach now, and everybody would have to lay on their backs and hold their and wiggle, and they'd make us do it for like 20 minutes. So you got kids out in a crowd doing that by request.
yeah.
It blows
Yeah,
my mind.
no,
That's
it was-
crazy.
It was fantastic.
Oh my god.
Pictures from the Phoenix stop on my website.
Say what?
Pictures from the Phoenix stop on my website.
Cool.
Oh, yeah?
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy.
That was a
It
fun
sounds-
show.
Like it was more exciting in Colorado.
What
Yeah.
was funny about the Phoenix show? So we show up at this club, and it's like a Western bar. It's like a country Western, like, you know, buckets for seats, you know, that kind of crap, right? Wood everywhere, and someone's throwing like some sort of afternoon drunken party because there's like a ton of Mexican food, like just sitting out, getting old, right?
It was a birthday party.
Yeah,
but it was like
that.
it was like a MAGA
Yeah.
birthday party though.
It's funny.
Of course,
it's funny.
Mexican food.
You know.
And of course,
So we get there, and
Arizona.
we're a bunch of hungry bands, and at some point, the bartender comes over and says, "Hey, man, this stuff is going to go to waste. If you guys want a bowl, you can go grab a bowl of it." And so the entire band just
He's awake.
just destroys it. Right? It was awake.
Yeah.
Oh man. So all the bands go over there and just destroy it, just eat a ton and make like 5 plates because there was so much food. I mean, literally, there were like mountains of refried beans,
Jesus.
mountains of rice. Yeah, it was just so much.
And
So we all get.
it had already been sitting out for like 9 hours.
It was not. No. So we all go back and we eat our free food, and then the Ska Brewery said, we're going to have an agent out there giving away Ska Brewery stuff, widgets and crap for people to take home and remember and buy our product. Okay, cool. So the guy shows up, and he doesn't actually work for Ska Brewing. He kind of works for like an agency. Right?
It was a distributor.
Yeah, they called it a distributor, and the distributor shows up with all of their stuff, right? But he's like, yeah, I'm paid to be here, but I don't know what to do. I don't care. Yeah, here's a big stack, and he gives us a beer, like a beer.
Oh, dude, he just rolled it into the green room.
It's a pallet, multiple pallets of beer as tall as a human being, right? And he rolls it into the green room. He's supposed to give it to the bartender or something, right? And they're supposed to like crack a beer and give it to somebody for free all night long, right?
Yeah.
But and I actually felt bad. I actually talked to the bartender, and the bartender's like, "Well, whatever's done is done. I ain't got people to hand that shit out." So they were happy. They were happy that the beers were hidden, right? So what happened is that every band got slammed. I mean, slammed. Like, everybody in that room drank at least a 6-pack. At least a 6-pack for every band member. And it was just nutty. Like, Joe, what did you think of the show?
Oh, I had a blast. And especially now in retrospect,
Right.
and having some context added to some of the memories.
Yeah, for sure. That was out of
Like,
control.
We used to have a really good ska rep. And our old ska rep still kind of shows up to shows, Ron, but he stepped aside to start his own restaurant. But you might know Ron.
Nice.
Going back, he used to be a bartender, and then he actually became the ska brew rep for when I met him. And then he started his own restaurant and stepped away from the life of ska brewing, at least directly.
Nice. Hey, let's change the subject here. One thing I've noticed about what's happening right now is that Joe's voice sounds like gold. You have a great microphone, whatever microphone you're using. Is that what is
blue
that
microphone?
It's a blue microphone.
Okay.
Oh,
that's color and in color and in the thing.
Is that called like the Sasquatch or something like that? Like it's got some
I paid, I think, 110.
110. No, it sounds fantastic. I just want to let you know.
I went through I have a lavalier mics somewhere around here too. I went through a couple motions of all right, how am I going to talk to guests? And then this thing turned out the best for all of it.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. It's really present. It's really present. Cool. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one myself because I will share with you. I will share with the world right now my secret. Okay, you guys ready for my secret? Okay, so I have a Macintosh iMac, right? And if you don't know where the microphone is on your Macintosh iMac, it's directly in the center on the top, right above the camera. And it's pointed straight up. But it's such a good, it's got such a good omnidirectional sound to it that it picks up everything in the room and it's really nice and present. But I don't want the kickback from the back wall, right? So I've built my own sound deflector. Do you want to see my sound deflector?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is my sound deflector. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, that's cool. Yeah,
it's just to make sure that I don't get kickback from the back wall. So I showed that to Dave, and he about laughed himself to death. Because he likes to tell me, he's like, you got such a good voice. Why are you wasting time with just a open microphone on a computer? And I'm like, because I'm a cheap bastard.
I tried to be a cheap bastard, and then when push came to shove, I had to get a better mic.
Well, who was doing the pushing? Who was doing the shoving?
It was me, one of the few touring bands I've had on my podcast that I was just like, shit, I got to get something that works with 3 people.
Oh, nice. And those have an omnidirectional and cardioid
they have
and all
4
that. All the
settings on the opposite side here that I can switch between.
How did it work in the Omni? Did it work good? Did it pick everybody in the room up?
So that was early on in my podcast, so there were other sound engineering lessons learned. They're all on the feed through episode 5. You'll see.
Unfortunately, there are things that happen.
Yes.
Man. All right. In the feed, what do we got here? We got Dave says, I wish I had a basement. Dead sound. Kurt Armstrong says they have an Imperial, which was high gravity. Oh, he's talking about the beer. And Dave says, me and my co-host Media Wench are both on Shure MV7s. It is not too dissimilar from SM7B. I've been looking at that microphone too. Only that's more of an investment, because I think those are about $300 or $400 for an SM7 or MV7.
I do have days we sit here and we listen to, you know, the programming and the microphones. I watch the whole. No, we just use our phone. We've always done our show off of our phone. For a while, even we didn't even have internet, so we would tether to each other to make that shit work. Like,
yeah.
You talk about probably we're the punk broadcast version of anything that could be a podcast.
Yeah. No, that's kind of where my head is too. Like I when I started this thing, I kind of wanted it to be just kind of a punk broadcast kind of experience, and that's why I built my little cardboard box.
Which, for the record, if anyone wants to start a podcast, do whatever you can with what you have.
Look at
go from there.
Student and jump into question number 2.
Yeah.
Question number 2.
We've only been on the first question this entire time.
Oh boy. Yeah. So the second question happens at the end of the show. It's about 5:23. I think we've been on for about an hour, have we?
Yeah,
about
I think that's about right.
We figured it out around 4. I think. Yeah, we could go on to the final question of the show if you guys are ready for the final question.
Let's do it.
You guys ready?
Sure.
I think they're ready.
All right. Ladies and germs. Okay, so I came up with these 2 questions to start the show out when I conceptualized it as only being a band thing. And then now we're kind of expanding it to like, well, you know, there's bartenders, there's bookers, there's podcasters, there's DJs. All these people have been kind of wrecked by the fact that there's no more scene. There's no way to play shows during a pandemic lockdown. So what the question is now that you've been in lockdown for a year and you've been just thinking about, you know, how to make things better, how do you think you could contribute to other people being creative and to reviving a healthy scene once we have the ability to hit the ground running? So as podcasters, is there something you would do? Would you have every band in the world on your show? Would you start advertising? Would you start pushing other people to become expressive and become creative? That's kind of, and the reason why I ask this is because that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this show. I'm trying to get people of different lifestyles to meet each other for the first time on the show, have a conversation, become very comfortable with each other, and then go like, you know what, we have ways of helping each other through this and getting a really healthy scene once we're back. So the question of what would you do to get the ball rolling? Let's start with Jess and Kif. What would you do to get the ball rolling? And I want to hear from both of you because Kif is more of a band guy, and he's got ideas as well.
You want to go first?
Well, I mean, break recently, but I do equipment game here, and you know, better sound, less, like, more space to have, and to eventually like have bands back into the house.
Yeah.
Also, you know, we don't exclude anybody. We have everybody on this show. It doesn't matter what like music you play at all, comedian. We promote small businesses in town here, and it keeps everyone like connected that way. It's like, oh, I didn't. There was this kind of band here, and like, wow, that's cool. Like, come over here, come here, play it. Like, we'll let you play.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, our whole goal and focus when we started, and something that we've fortunately been able to continue and I think accidentally grow, is that networking aspect of this. So regardless of genre, right, there's a lot of fragmentation that occurs in the music scene between venues who are friendly to, where should I say it? Does our who does these certain nuances that I need to promote myself? Whether you're a musician or a podcaster, I think that being able to really have a internet in your brain of how that works all together is probably at the root of what we do. And for a while, we talked about actually, and it was when Hans was over at our house, Hans Gruber, we were talking about doing a traveling band atlas across the world, because we've connected with everybody across the world, and able to be, you could find venues, artists to put together multifaceted shows. So I think with COVID shutting so many things down, we got to participate a little bit in doing this, but putting together a quote unquote virtual show.
Yeah.
Where one person runs the camera, so to say, like through this platform or another. We created an event on Facebook for one of these, and we invited co-hosts, the other artists, and we cut in between. Everybody had a set time. At say 6 o'clock, had Candace Griffin go on, and then at 7:25 we had the next group go on, and so each group through the one event was able to do it. People could watch a full show that way. So
not only doing it digitally, we also had the idea of like having like the physical copy of like, oh wow, I don't have internet right now, my phone's dead. I've got this all this information right in my hand.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. There was when I'm from a bygone time, since way before the internet.
I know what you're gonna say.
Right. And you know what I'm gonna say, that there was
your own effing
book your own fucking life. There was a punk magazine that came out. It was like every year or so it would come out, and it was called Book Your Own Fucking Life, and punk bands would pick this magazine up and they would take it with them across America, and they would have it on the table so that as if you were in a band, a local band, and you really enjoyed it, you're like, hey, I love your band, like I wish guys could go on tour with you. It's like, boom, book your own fucking life.
Yeah.
And it was such an inspiration that in the early days of Monkey, back in like 98, 99, when we first started touring, I was actually making my own version, because I found that the Book Your Own Fucking Life was copied so many times that sometimes it wasn't accurate. So what I started doing is keeping my own log of accuracy, right? Who was awake now, and then I wrote a little I don't even know if I have a copy of it, but I wrote like a little preamble of like what it means to be in a band, what it means to tour, what it means to reach out to people that you've never known before, like to cold call people, because a lot of people, that's where they hit the wall. They have great music, great ideas. They might even have the resources to go on tour, but they just don't know what the fuck to do, right? And it's sometimes you just have to say, here's the phone, it's ringing. Yep. It's ringing. What are you going to say? It's ringing. Oh, someone just picked up. Hold on a second. What are you going to say? And that kind of pressure, that positive pressure, will get people to respond to something like that and realize, oh, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. There are people that are receptive out there. They want to see a band. They want bands from other areas to come to their area and kind of mix in their waters and see if it grows a scene. For sure.
It needs to come back. Somebody's got to bring it back. You got to bring it back.
Absolutely. Hey, besides Book Your Own Fucking Life, James, what would you do to encourage people in your area to become more expressive, whether it be podcasting or music or art or whatever?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's on me. I'm in Seattle. Just moved here 5 years ago. Been trying to break in. I have a lot of friends here, actually, that are, I know a couple of guys downtown. But I've often considered this. There's a lot to be said about to throw shows that aren't just genre, because that's one of the things I noticed in this town that are just genre. I mean, you got the Victoria Ska and Reggae Fest, of course, across the sound here, which I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of, but I've yet to see anything like a festival that's, and I'll say it, more of the punk DIY, but like many different genres. That isn't a festival that you got to pay $150 for a ticket for one day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the things that I'm thinking about that I wanted to like spurn off of the podcast that I have to maybe do like maybe around the Victoria Skacast, maybe do a show, maybe even here in this little burg of mine here in Issaquah, which is Seattle adjacent. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that I think that outdoor festival that isn't just, even though we're very ska centric, I am myself. My wife is tired of me talking about ska being bad, but I think that's kind of an important thing to do, is to put together festivals that are not so much, just one style or just one adjacent, but to get, because you don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, you'll have the huge, but that are free. Free festivals make more sense than anything, because you're just going to get a bunch of, trust fund kids. I said it. I'm sorry. To these shows, but
Did you say? I'm sorry.
It's insane. I mean, trust fund
hippies.
It's like, we're not all Bonnaroo. I'm sorry, I'm not going to, But I think that's
they're going out to
kind of an important thing. Yeah, I think that's kind of an important thing. Like the whole DIY thing hasn't been. Everybody wants to be a rock star now, but I miss the book your own fucking life days when somebody would be like, "Oh, we can play this basement in Ann Arbor, and after that we can go play in Chicago."
In Wisconsin,
you don't see that anymore.
I think Jess.
Yeah, exactly.
Needs to say something.
Jess is just bubbling. She's bubbling. What do you need? What do you want?
So in Kenosha, Wisconsin, giant festival that happens called Punk Picnic. That is all DIY. However, we have a friend who ran that moved out to Tacoma, and also now does one in the woods out there. Mm-hmm. There's this huge festival that happens.
It's in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can connect you with him if you want to start that.
Let's do it.
We got to do it. We got to do this.
Hey, monkey will come play.
Yeah, for sure. So here's another thing is in our area, in the Bay Area, we have something called Pork Fest, right? So what happens is a promoter contacts people that they know in a neighborhood in town, and then on one block they'll have a band playing, and then they'll have another band on another block, another band on another block, with just enough separation where the sound bleeds out a little bit, and then you can hear the next band. And then all the neighbors, like Sunday morning, all of a sudden there's just rock and roll noise everywhere, and the neighbors are like, "What the hell is happening?" And they go and all their neighbors have these punk rock bands in their front yard blasting as hard as they can, just playing for the love of the game. And they're like, wow, this is so cool. Who put this party together? And it's become a thing. In Napa, they've done it for like the last 6 or 7 years, and it's crazy. Like the throngs of people from other neighborhoods will come to the neighborhood. They'll descend upon the neighborhood that they know that the party's in, and it'll just be like 1,000 people just milling around, drinking openly in the streets. They'll, block party style, and that is fucking great.
That sounds
Every
Right.
big city needs to do this. Seattle, this is on you. Maybe I'm telling you, you do that in Seattle, it'll be off the chain. But nobody thinks that way, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, instruments will get wet. I'll just say that. But
You put it during the summer. Put it during the summer.
Yeah.
Instruments will still get wet.
Yeah. They'll still get wet. But,
Yeah,
we're
but
used to it. They'll have to
come on.
flash that around. Boss back.
Hey, when do we get our Soros checks anyway?
Nah.
I'm gonna get my vaccine
Next
chip very soon.
quarter, I think.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so fun. Joe, what is your idea? You've been stewing there. You've been thinking about it. What would you have any new ideas? I mean, you guys, because I don't think you're not in a band, right? You're not. Okay. So you've been to so many shows. Like you got to know what works and what doesn't, right?
for the most part. It's already taken me off my thoughts. But yeah, I mean, generally, once things start up, my goal is just to get back with what half my life disappeared. Is just get that vaccine, that chip, and then go back out to the shows that are occurring. One thing that I wonder if I'm going to see more of, I had some people already, I don't know, maybe this is modesty, but I don't know how people find me, but I have bands hit me up to help book them in Phoenix. So I'm wondering if either I make a little more effort or if that will just increase in general to help.
You could become your own promoter.
That is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing.
Yeah, it is.
Props to all my promoter friends. Let me put that.
Well, let me make a delineation here because there's a lot of promoters out there, and we work with a lot of promoters for one time only, because we show up, we say we want this show, they get us the show. We want this to happen. They make it happen. And then we send them a bunch of material, right? Like either digital material or physical posters. And we get to the club and there's no posters up. There's no flyers there. The club hasn't talked to the promoter in days. The promoter shows up for like 5 seconds and goes like, hey, you guys didn't promote your own show. If you're going to call yourself a promoter, do your fucking job.
Why is that?
Let me go more specific. It's Ben Talty of Relaxed and Permanent Vacation there, as he rebranded. He's one of the hardest working promoters and puts the effort in and shows up. And props to him, because clearly it's time consuming.
Yeah, for sure.
Will Anderson's.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, main thing is just to try and get back out there and start promoting them through my social media. The Concerts of Consoles, part of what put it on kind of a hiatus was I was doing it in person with a local recording studio and bringing my old school consoles that are, I guess someone can be seen over my shoulder. I think you can see more of my newer, but bringing them and physically playing a Nintendo, physically playing Super Nintendo, that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of missing out with the COVID thing. So get that back going. But with the last 11 months, I have been able to test and find out I can do live streams as long as the person on the other end has the same video game stuff. We can also try to coordinate there.
Nice.
So that will open up some avenues for some touring and scheduling with some touring friends.
Cool.
So hopefully also bring that back in a better capacity.
Awesome.
now.
But these are great ideas. These are all great ideas, and it's funny that I often think like I'm just going to hear the same ideas from different groups of people, but I don't. I hear new ideas every time. There's always something new about how people think. You know, when you get them in a room together, and I'm really happy that you guys joined us today, even though there was massive technical issues at the beginning. But all right, thank you guys for coming to the Bidness.
Thanks, guys.